Imagine waking up one morning and the low hum of uncertainty that has been living in the background of how you think about this person, the quiet but persistent not quite knowing that has made it impossible to fully settle into what exists between you, is simply gone, replaced by something solid, something clear, something that has the particular weight of a decision that has been made by someone who does not make decisions lightly, and who, having made this one, is not going to unmake it. That morning is closer than you think, because the decision has already been made on their side, in the private interior of a person who has been doing the kind of deep, honest, sometimes uncomfortable reckoning that genuine choosing requires. The question that has been open between you has closed. Not in the way of a door shutting, in the way of something settling, finding its ground, coming to rest in a place that feels, to the person who has arrived there, completely and permanently right. They have chosen you, Virgo, not by default, not by elimination, not because the other options were insufficient or the circumstances made you the convenient choice. By genuine, deliberate, eyes open, full information choosing, they looked at their life and at the people in it and at everything available to them, and they chose you specifically, consciously, with the particular clarity of someone who knows the difference between wanting something and choosing it, and has moved from the first to the second, and now they want you to know. Drop the word chosen in the comments right now and subscribe to this channel if you are not already here, because what this person is moving toward, the expression of a choice, this deliberate and this complete, is going to change the entire atmosphere of your life. And I want you fully present and fully prepared for what that change feels like when it arrives. Let me start where the energy pulled me the moment I connected to your reading today. Not with the choice itself, but with what preceded it. The journey this person traveled to arrive at this place of complete clarity. Because the journey matters. Because a choice that has been arrived at through genuine process, through the honest examination of feeling and desire and what a person actually wants from their life, carries a different weight than a choice that has been made quickly or casually or without the full investment of a person's real attention. This choice was not made quickly. It was not made casually. It was made after a period that I would describe as a thorough and sometimes difficult internal accounting. A period during which this person looked honestly at what they feel for you and what they want from this, and what kind of person they are when they're in your orbit, and what kind of life they imagine when they imagine it with you in it. And they looked at all of that without flinching, without softening the edges of what they found to make it more comfortable, with the particular courage of someone who has decided that honesty with themselves, full, unsparing, this is what is actually true. Honesty is more important than the comfort of staying in comfortable ambiguity. What they found when they looked honestly was not ambiguous. What they found in the full light of real examination was that the feeling they have for you is not a phase or a passing intensity or something that will diminish with familiarity. It is something that has grown with familiarity, that has deepened every time it could have faded. That has become more specific and more certain and more undeniably real with every passing interaction, every conversation, every ordinary moment that has quietly added itself to the accumulation of evidence that you are someone whose presence in their life is not a nice thing, but a necessary thing. That discovery, the discovery that wanting has deepened into needing, that interest has developed into love, that the person they thought might become important has become essential, is what produced the choice. Not in a panicked way, in the most grounded way. The choosing that comes not from urgency, but from clarity, from simply knowing. I want to describe the specific quality of what this person feels for you, because choosing is not a single thing. It is the expression of a feeling that has many dimensions. And understanding those dimensions will help you understand the fullness of what is being offered. The first dimension is desire. Simple, specific, completely present desire for you as a person, for your company, your conversation, your humor, the particular texture of your intelligence and your warmth and the way they feel when they are in your presence versus when they are not. The want of someone who has identified something that makes their life better and has no interest in pretending that want is smaller than it is or managing it into something more convenient or less exposing. They want you, plainly and without qualification. The second dimension is admiration. This is different from desire, and it is important. They do not only want you, they genuinely, deeply respect who you are, the way you navigate difficulty, the integrity you bring to things, the specific quality of your mind, the way you care for people, the standard you hold without announcing it. They have been watching you move through your life with a specific and increasing admiration that has nothing to do with attraction and everything to do with recognition, the recognition of genuine quality, of someone who is the real thing in a world full of approximations. And that admiration has become part of the choosing. They are not only choosing how you make them feel, they are choosing who you are. The third dimension is safety. And I want to say something specific about this because it is perhaps the most significant of the three and the one most worth sitting with. You make this person feel safe, not in a comfortable, unchallenging way, in the deepest sense. The sense of someone who feels that they can be fully themselves in your presence without the careful management of impression that most of their relationships require. That they can be uncertain around you without it being weaponized. That they can be imperfect around you without it being held against them. That they can bring the full and complicated reality of who they are, not just the most presentable version, and find it received rather than evaluated. That safety is rare for them, rarer perhaps than they have fully acknowledged. And finding it in you has made the choice not just desirable but easy, because you choose what makes you feel like the fullest version of yourself. And in your company, they are the fullest version of themselves. The choice was never really a question. It was always going to be you. Now I want to talk about the wanting, the specific, current, right now quality of wanting that is present in this person's energy around you, because it has a particular texture that I want to describe accurately. It is active. This is not a dormant or theoretical wanting, not the kind that exists in the background of a person's life as a pleasant possibility they think about occasionally. This is front and center, present in the foreground of their daily experience, the kind of wanting that organizes itself around its object in the specific way of something that has become the primary concern of a person's attention without them quite deciding to make it that. They think about you constantly, not obsessively in a way that has lost touch with the rest of their life. They are still functioning, still moving, still present in everything that requires their presence. But you are there. running as an underlying current beneath everything else, surfacing repeatedly, reliably, with the consistency of something that has become structural rather than occasional. You have become part of the architecture of their inner life. Not a visitor in it, but a resident. The wanting is also specific. It is not a general wanting for connection or companionship or the pleasant sensation of being liked by someone they find appealing. It is a wanting for the particular you. The specific combination of qualities that is only available in you and that they have come to understand through enough experience of your absence as a felt lack cannot be substituted or approximated or redirected towards something more convenient. They want you, the actual you, in all the specificity and the complexity and the occasionally challenging depth of everything you actually are. And the wanting has urgency in it now. That is new. Something that has shifted in the texture of their feeling recently from a patient, sustained, I will wait for the right moment quality to something more pressing, more aware of time, more conscious of the particular cost of continuing to feel this much without doing something about it. The urgency is not panic, it is the specific pressure of a person who has made a decision and is now ready to act on it and is finding that every day that passes without the action having been taken is a day that costs them something. They would rather not keep paying. They are ready. That readiness is the dominant energy around them right now. And readiness in a person who has been careful and thorough and genuinely thoughtful in arriving at this decision is not something that unresolves itself. It moves toward its object. It finds expression. It arrives. Let me speak to your experience of this waiting. The particular quality of not knowing that has characterized how you have been holding this connection while this person has been doing their internal work toward the place of choosing. You have been patient, extraordinarily so, with yourself and with this situation. You have managed in the very Virgo way of managing difficult things, which is to continue showing up with full presence and full function while the unresolved thing sits in you doing its unresolved work to hold the uncertainty around this person without letting it destabilize everything else. You have been present in your life, functional, often genuinely engaged and effective and all the things you always are. And underneath all of that, you have been carrying something, a question, the particular quality of the unanswered question that is not painful enough to be crisis and not resolved enough to be peace. The suspended state of someone who feels something and knows that what they feel has somewhere to go but has not yet received the information that would confirm the direction. You have been living in that suspension for a while, and I want to name it not to describe its difficulty, though it has had difficulty in it, but to acknowledge it, to say that the waiting has been real and the patience it required has been genuine, and the fact that you have maintained yourself through it with the grace and the groundedness that you have is not a small thing. That suspension is ending. The information is coming. The direction is becoming clear. And the specific relief of having an answer of the unanswered question finally being answered is going to be significant, not just for what the answer is, but for the ending of the not knowing. The particular release of a thing that has been held in suspension finally being allowed to land. What does the choosing look like in practice? How does this person's decision express itself in the world, in your world, in the space between you? Because a choice that remains internal is not yet the full thing. It is the choosing that matters and the expression of it that makes it real. What I am seeing is communication. The reaching out that has been building in them, accumulating pressure, gathering courage, waiting for the moment that feels right in the specific way that honest and significant things require the right moment finally happening. Not the managed, careful, calibrated communication of someone who is still deciding what to reveal. The other kind, the direct, clear, this is what I feel and this is what I want, and I am saying so because I have decided that not saying so is no longer something I am willing to do kind. That communication is going to name things that have not been named before, the feeling in its full extent rather than the portion of it that felt safe to show previously. The wanting in its specificity, the choosing in its deliberateness, the fact that this is not an accident or a default or a drift in your direction, but a genuine, conscious, I looked at my life and chose you kind of choosing. And it is going to ask for reciprocity, not demand it, ask for it. With the vulnerability of someone who has made themselves completely visible in what they feel and who is now in the particular exposure of waiting to find out whether what they brought is going to be met. That vulnerability deserves to be received with care. The care of someone who understands what it costs to be that honest about something that matters that much. What you bring to that moment, the quality of your reception, the honesty of your response, the willingness to be as fully present in the receiving as they are in the offering is going to determine the character of everything that follows. Let me tell you what follows. What the cards are showing me about the shape of what becomes available once two people who have both been carrying this toward each other finally arrive in the same place at the same time with the same honesty. What follows is a relationship that is built from the right foundation, not built on performance or projection or the pleasant fiction of a beginning that does not have the full information of who both people are. Built on genuine knowing, on actual choosing, on the solid, honest, this is what is true, and we are starting from here ground of two people who have seen enough of each other's reality to choose it with full awareness of what they are choosing. That foundation changes the entire quality of what gets built on it. Connections that begin with honesty, with genuine expression and genuine reception, rather than with the management of impression, have a different resilience, a different capacity for depth, a different ability to hold the full weight of two real people living a real shared life rather than two performed versions of people maintaining a pleasant surface. What follows is being loved specifically, not generally, not as a placeholder for someone or something this person needed, as you, the actual particular irreplaceable you that has been the object of this specific wanting and this specific choosing. There is no version of what they are offering that is not specifically about you. And being loved specifically by someone who has done the work of really seeing you and has found that what they see is exactly what they want is the rarest and the most sustaining kind of love there is. What follows is the particular ease of being with someone who has chosen you completely. The ending of the slight guardedness that has existed on both sides while the choosing was still in process. The beginning of a specific relaxation of two people who no longer have to manage what they show each other because the choosing has already happened and the showing of everything is now not just safe but welcome. That ease, the ease of being fully known and fully chosen, is what is waiting on the other side of the conversation that is coming, and it is worth everything that the patient waiting has cost you. I want to close with something that I have been feeling since the first moments of this reading, and that wants to be said simply and without elaboration. You deserve to be chosen. Actively, deliberately, with full awareness and full intention, by someone who has done the real work of knowing you and has arrived at the honest conclusion that you are exactly what they want. You have not always been chosen this way. There have been connections that were more passive than deliberate, where you were present and the other person was glad you were present, but the active choosing was missing. Where you gave more than you received in the currency of genuine intentionality. Where the relationship existed more because it was convenient than because it was consciously, specifically, deliberately wanted. What is coming is different from all of that in every measurable way, in the deliberateness of the choosing, in the specificity of the wanting, in the honesty of the expression, in the quality of the love that has been quietly growing in this person through all the time it has taken them to arrive at the place of being ready to bring it to you. You are about to be chosen in the full and proper sense of that word by someone who knows what they are choosing and is choosing it anyway because of it, with the full weight of a real person's real decision behind it. Receive it as the full and proper thing it is. Do not compress it. Do not qualify it. Do not protect yourself from the complete experience of being wanted and chosen in this way by immediately looking for the catch or the caveat or the reason it might not mean what it clearly means. Let it mean what it means. Let yourself be chosen. You have earned this landing. Come back and tell me in the comments, did you feel something shift reading this today? Something settle in the place where the uncertainty has been living? Drop chosen if this reading touched something real. Tell me if someone came to mind with an immediacy that surprised you. Tell me if the quality of choosing I described matches something you have been sensing in the space between you and this person without quite being able to name it. Because what you have been sensing is the choosing already in motion. It has been moving toward you for longer than you knew, and it is almost here with everything, Virgo. I will see you in the next one.